Hi guys, my name's Barry and welcome back to the channel. Don't worry, it's not all doom and gloom for Halloween Ends. I recently done 5 things that I hated and you hated about Halloween Ends, but today what we're going to do is I'm going to give you 5 things that we and I loved about Halloween Ends. Now this might be something that a lot of you hated about Halloween Ends, but this is what I loved about Halloween Ends, and that is they've introduced us to a new character late on in the party. I know it's late, but they introduced us to a new character in Corey Cunningham, and this character was probably one of the most fleshed out characters that we've had in the entire franchise. Not just this timeline, but the entire franchise. I know we've got new characters introduced like Karen and Allison, etc. But those characters, even though they were fleshed out over a certain amount of movies, I still didn't really connect with a lot of these characters as much as I did with Corey Cunningham, because his character went full circle in one movie. And I don't think I've ever connected to a character like him since Rachel in Halloween 4 or Jamie Lloyd in Halloween 4. You're so invested in those characters in Halloween 4 that you could latch onto them, whether they turned out to be good or bad. And then when you look at Corey Cunningham, I know that a lot of people disagree, but a lot of people do agree that we can latch onto Corey Cunningham, whether he's a good guy or a bad guy. There's just something about him that you want to know more about his character, and he is one of the best things about Halloween Ends. So I think one thing that they did get right, and I absolutely loved about the movie, even though it was very late at the time, that character itself was phenomenal. Another thing that I loved was it had a different vibe to it. Now, I'm not talking back about what I didn't like was the camera work, etc. It had a different feeling to it. I didn't like that, but what I did like was the vibe of the movie itself. It didn't take the same formula as the previous Halloween films have done before. This is the most different Halloween movie that we've had since Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, and I always go back to that and compare it because it does feel like an anthology movie with Michael Myers in there, but not him being the main character. And it would work if this wasn't the finale, but again, that was what I hated about the movie. But what I do love is just having that different vibe, a different storyline in the Halloween franchise, because we've all seen the same thing over and over again. Michael Myers stalking people and killing people. And as much as we do like that, it does get tiresome at times, and I like it when they change it up. And this was a perfect movie to change it up for, because it's something different. I wish there was going to be more with Michael Myers and Corey Cunningham, and it's not going to happen, but I just like the fact that they tried something different, and for me, it worked. Something that I'm sure everyone will agree with is one thing that we love about this film is the soundtrack. The soundtrack wasn't as good as Halloween 2018 or Halloween Kills, but the soundtrack is still phenomenal. I'm really glad that John Carpenter could be bothered to come back for all these movies and do the soundtrack for them. Him, his son, and his godson. All 3 of them gave something completely unique in all the movies, but at the same time, it still felt like it was the original Halloween series that we got. So it did feel different, but the same at the same time. It was great. You know, the junkyard theme that we got in Halloween Ends was probably the best. And Halloween Kills, you got the Shape Stocks Laurie, the Shape Stocks Allison. So there's always that unique theme throughout all 3 movies that you can always latch onto, and mix that with all the great songs that are all the way through it. Also mixed with some originality with the original movie in 1978. So something that I know we can all agree on is that soundtrack is fantastic. Next up is the body count. Now this might sound contradictory to what I hated about Halloween Ends. I did say that I hated that Michael didn't have a big body count, but the movie had a big body count, and that's what kind of counts for a lot of people who like to see kills in a movie. Albeit not all the kills were by Michael Myers, but there were still some really creative kills in the movie. Laurie killed 1 person, which was Michael Myers. Michael killed 3 people, and Corey killed 10 people. Now, that might be a negative for some who didn't like Corey Cunningham, because they don't want to see Corey killing people, they want to see Michael Myers killing people. But if you look at it as a Halloween movie and not a Michael Myers movie, you're getting a Halloween movie with 14 kills in it, and 14 is a lot of people to kill in a horror movie within under 2 hours. So if you're in it for the kills, then I think you're going to be satisfied at the end of the day with the movie. Yes, again, if you're a Michael Myers fan, maybe not so much, but if you're a fan of horror movies, fan of Halloween in general, then I think, yeah, 14 is quite a big body count. Not as much as Halloween Kills, of course, but again, that's why Halloween Kills is called Halloween Kills, because that is the pinnacle of this timeline, whereas Halloween Ends are winding down a little bit. Obviously winding down a lot with Michael Myers, but at least we still get a decent body count. And finally, something that I loved was we got a definite ending to Michael Myers. Again, you look back in the Michael Myers fans, they might not agree that this is a good thing because they want to see this Michael Myers over and over again. Understandable, but sometimes certain timelines just have to end, and I think a Laurie Strode timeline with Jamie Lee Curtis has to end at some point because Jamie Lee Curtis is getting older. So why not give us a definitive ending to Michael Myers? I know that H2O was a definitive ending to Michael Myers, but they wanted to make more money and the rest is history. But at least this time they knew that this character that they killed in the kitchen was Michael Myers. And then just to make sure he doesn't come back, or we don't see him come back as an audience member, is they just grind them up into little tiny pieces, into mincemeat, and that's it. There's no coming back from that with Michael Myers unless they make it supernatural, which they won't do for this timeline. But at least in this timeline, and this specific movie, Michael Myers has a definitive and a definite 100% ending. It's not going to be a paramedic that comes back and says, oh my goodness, or it's not going to be Michael Myers coming back saying, I switched bodies. So yes, we get a definitive ending to Michael Myers for definite. So that's just 5 things that I loved and some of you loved about Halloween Ends. I know there's not as much love at the moment for Halloween Ends than there is for the hates for Halloween Ends, but I think it's because Halloween Ends is the last movie just now. It's the most popular movie just now, so it is popular to hate on the latest movie in a franchise. It's normal to happen, guys, and I know that a lot of things happened in the movie that fans of Michael Myers didn't want. That's why we see a lot of hate for the movie. I've still seen it today, a year later, people are saying it's the worst movie they've ever seen. They're just over-exaggerating. They're trying to get their point across. They're trying to get the point across by over-exaggerating. They obviously don't think it's the worst movie ever made, unless they've only seen 10 movies. And I seen today, somebody said Andi Matichak, who plays Allison, gave us the worst performance that they've ever seen in their entire lives. And again, that's obviously not the case. They're just over-exaggerating because they didn't get what they wanted for Halloween Ends. And I can understand, guys. I've understood all of these bad things. There's movies that I watch that I want to see certain things in it, and I don't get what I want. I don't spit the dummy, though, and I don't pretend that I hated the movie. I just go, okay, I didn't get what I want. Maybe I'll get what I want in the next movie, and I'll go and see it and support the franchise. That's all you can do as a fan of the franchise. But if you're a fan of a specific character in a franchise, then you'll probably spit the dummy more than somebody else who just generally loves the entire franchise. But leave your comments down below, guys. Let me know what you loved about Halloween Ends. Don't tell me what you hated about it, because that's not this video. The previous video is about that. Just leave your comments down below. Let me know what you loved about Halloween Ends. And as always, thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for subscribing.
Meeting adjourned.
I'll be right back.
What are you waiting for, huh?
Coming to get you, Barbara.
Ever played Skin the Cat? Someone's in the back! See